What's good, y'all? It's Jared. I'm here to break down the lyrics to my new song, Born to Win. Let's get straight into it. When I was born, I was sworn to win, cause I was born to win. When I was 4, I bore a pen, a single sword of men. This is just basically saying I feel like I was set up to be successful at an early age. I wrote my first song when I was about 4 years old. So I've been like incubating and honing in on my writing and musical skills ever since then. So I've had a lot of practice doing this. When I was 10, my attention needed extension to the rest. Put a rifle to my rivals, yes, the win is on my chest. I spent a lot of like my really early life in my short life with a really positive attitude and like a really happy-go-lucky attitude. And I was really just focused a lot on being creative and trying to make friends with people and take new information and things like that. Because of this like outlook I had on life, I didn't really notice or understand why there were a lot of people that were showing up in my life that saw me as a threat. And once I took notice of this and it came to my attention, I had to put some type of effort towards recognizing the people that were looking at me like this and being able to protect myself. So in order to say this, I'm just continuing the winning scheme by referencing a Winchester rifle. Speak of the devil, my kick is sitting on his neck. Word Inspector Deck is mine, I'm on a mission to protect. One of the most famous songs by the Wu-Tang Clan is called Protect Your Neck, and Inspector Deck has the first verse on that, so that was just a reference to that. Just basically wordplay saying I'm gotta watch my own back. Spit like this is influenza, ridden to the bed. Yes, reciprocal decision, living sickness, giving death. And sick is just a slang term that means something is really good, so I'm just playing with this and saying that I'm so sick, I'm bedridden. I'm also kind of playing with like the juxtaposition between me thriving in the sickness, like the slang version of sickness, while I'm also killing off the rappers that aren't as sick as me, ironically. This some shit I better not forget. Life's a bitch, I must have hit it right, she's coming from my head. And that's ironic, cause I never had sex. This was meant to be a minstrel, cause my lips are getting red. Everybody knows the idiom life's a bitch, which just basically means life is like ruthless and difficult. It throws a lot of difficult situations at you. So just me playing off of the metaphor that it's a woman, I'm basically saying I must have been really good in bed because she's coming from my head, meaning oral sex. And this is also a double entendre, basically saying that life is taking a headshot at me. It's coming for me ruthlessly with the problems that it's presenting to me. So I wrote this record in early 2020, and at the time I was actually a virgin. So I was just taking the sex metaphor from Life's a Bitch and kind of just applying it to the actual situation I was in my life at the time. So, and then the minstrel line is another double entendre that's referring to blackface and like minstrel shows to a woman's menstrual cycle. So I'm basically just saying that when you put blackface on, you have like jet black paint all over your face and then really big cartoonish almost lips painted in bright red. You get the point. Throw that nigga on the stage, make him entertain. Put some shit around his wrist and get a bigger chain. Keep this nigga independent, they'll forget his name. Cut some wires in his brain so he relives the pain. I play with juxtaposition a lot in my songs, and this is a really big one because when people think of racist, like the thing they usually attribute to being racist would be like somebody with a really deep southern accent, somebody like a southern farmer or something like that. And in that accent, I'm speaking from the perspective of somebody who's like a music industry executive who is exploiting black culture and black people just to gain a profit. So in this, I'm kind of referring to the roles of two things like majorly flipping at some point in time. The first of these things being that the people that used to cause black people the most damage, I guess you could say, would be southern people who were, farmers and exploiting them for agricultural labor. And the people that's reflected in today are really just business executives that will exploit anybody. It doesn't really matter what culture you come from. They'll just do whatever they can to exploit. So the other flip in this that I'm referencing is the fact that it's a stereotype for rappers to flaunt jewelry and the common term referring to that is chains, and it's kind of seen as a status symbol. And that used to be the opposite. Black people used to be in chains and in shackles for the purpose of bondage and subjugation. So just to see the fact that that flipped into something else, and you're talking about also the people that were doing the most damage have changed in appearance as well It's just kind of interesting. And it could go even further and get into the idea of conflict diamonds and the economic and like resource exploitation of the continent of Africa. Could go really deep into that, but that's all I was referencing basically. And the independent line is basically just referring to the idea that an independent artist doesn't have the same access to resources and opportunities that an artist would that was signed to a major label. Nah, this shit ain't right. You been talking like it ain't mine. You was talking all that hang tight. Nigga, you been acting like I can't fight. The people that have contributed the most to the culture and the infrastructure of America are the people that are the most disenfranchised. And whenever those people try to express their grievances about that situation, the people that benefit from it and or have the ability to fix some of those problems, they either just tell them what they want them to hear to get them to shut up, or they just don't acknowledge it at all. When marginalized people get angry and frustrated and they act out of that frustration and they retaliate to the people that are depriving them of whatever resources or whatever opportunities, they're kind of made to look as if there's no justifiable reason for why they would be acting this way. Basically passing the buck and saying that they're in the situation they're in just because of their own lack of responsibility or accountability. Duh. While I'm trying to beat the same horse sitting on my brain for, I don't know, 400 years plus, game that they made the main course demonstrating pain, war, domination, trying to make this shit fun. The mentality of taking another group of people's resources and then capitalizing off of whatever disadvantages they have so that you can exploit them and take their resources at the same time is a staple and the bedrock of Western society. And it's basically become a core value that's just deeply, deeply ingrained in our culture at this point. You stay looking at the same worn lane porn, trying to break an acorn and say it don't suck. You could say I'm going nuts, aw shucks. You should take the blame for the race war when you made your own cuffs. Living in a first world society, we've developed a habit of seeking instant gratification. And whenever we see negative consequences from that have a long-term effects, we try to remedy that by doing the same thing that caused that, which is seeking instant gratification once more. Nigga, what? You think I tried to hang my own son only once? Thought he kept it Benny Bucks. Now he fucking niggas up. And all he figures is call him niggas because he thinking maybe that was what he was. Man, you got me messed up. There's a lot of people that believe the casual use of the N-word reinforces a negative self-concept. To a certain extent, there's some validity to that, because when you grow up seeing people that you identify with and people that look like you being treated in a certain way, being disregarded and devalued, after a while you start to internalize that, because you're seeing it in person, you're seeing it through media, you're seeing it through all of these different mediums. And because of this, it's very easy to develop an inferiority complex about oneself and your own identity. And once that happens, people begin to model the same ideas about themselves and behavior towards themselves and people that look like them based off of that mentality. I wrote this record, like I said, in early 2020. And at this time, there was a lot of stuff happening in the world. The George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery protests were happening at that time. This is during COVID as well. Because of what I do, a lot of people in my life were telling me to say something about that and to make a statement or like put some music out or whatever. And in certain ways I did. And I kind of regretted doing that because I've learned a lot. I didn't really understand how I felt about a lot of the things that were happening at the time. I didn't really have the information to analyze that in an intelligent way or in a comprehensive way. And so I wrote this really just to privately express the sentiments I had about it at the time. I wasn't really intending on putting it out, because I feel like a lot of people will take current events or take something that's getting a lot of attention as an excuse really just to make content about it. And I always kind of thought that was really corny. I'm not really into that, because it can cause a detriment when you're spreading information that you're not really informed about, or expressing an opinion or a perspective about something that isn't informed. It can make you kind of look bad to a certain extent. After a few years of doing some research and just learning and living life and experiencing things, I can safely say that the sentiments that I expressed in this record, I still agree with. Very much so. They've just kind of become a lot more evident to me, honestly. So yeah, that's what this record is about, and I hope you guys enjoy it because it means a lot to me. And this is definitely one of the more in-depth, dense, like lyrical records that I have. Probably the only one that's a complete original. All of the other ones that are really this deep are in my Book of Jared series, which I'm going to be doing lyric breakdowns for that as well, because those have a lot of nuance and a lot of information attached to them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys enjoy Born to Win. Please go stream it on every platform. It's out. Please share it if you like it. Let me know if you guys like it. If you guys like this type of content, comment, let me know. And I appreciate y'all. I hope y'all enjoy it. JFO out.